Welcome back to the Real Triathlon Podcast. It's just me today and my guest, Eryn Kubinski, who her and I are going to be talking about a lot of mental health stuff because I need help. Maybe some of you need help. I mean, pro athletes, there's no shortage of help that we need. So, Dr. Eryn, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks. I'm not a doctor, though.
Oh, wait, not doctor. I'm so used to calling everybody doctor who comes on the show. Sorry about that. It's just a habit.
That's okay. No, that's fine. Thanks for having me. I look forward to serving you and your guests and your listeners.
Well, where are you? First off, where can people find you?
I live in Breckenridge, Colorado, but you can find me at my website, adventuresofhealth.com, and learn a little bit more about me there. And yeah, if this conversation interests you, you can book a call with me and we could do some deeper diving.
Do some digging. So what kind of path brought you to mental health? I mean, I know I've read all about you on your website, but for our listeners who want to take some advice and want to know where it's coming from, you know, what makes you you and kind of what experiences have given you such good skills to be able to help people?
So my career started off as a physical therapist. And in physical therapy, I was very interested in the neurology side of things. And then went into orthopedics. But what I really realized I was really good at the personal connection, and just kind of helping people on with the talking side of things, right? And so after I got burnt out in physical therapy, doing reps and sets, and ruining my thumbs, I pivoted and thought I was going to go into business and went to business school. But then as I transitioned in life, I ended up owning a fitness business. And then when I finished that, I wanted to get into coaching. And so when I got into the coaching arena, I really got into human behavior and how we can really like rewire our brain. And my biggest like rewiring was I decided to quit drinking a few years ago. And in that process, I really discovered the science behind rewiring your brain and started digging into like how our brain works and how human behavior can change habits and how we get addicted to our thoughts and our thought patterns and how you can change that. And if you can change the way you think, you can change anything, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think we all love to remind ourselves of I guess I'd say the good excuses to do bad things. That we're probably really good at positively reinforcing negative behavior within our own lifestyles. I know it takes a high level of awareness to do what you do, and then to also I think the best people who can provide therapy are people who have experienced things and trauma and had to work through it. And the journey takes a while. Am I right? It's not like it's one thing, one and done.
No, it's daily work is what I call it. You got to do the daily work.
Just like training and coaching and working on your body and fitness, like consistency is a weapon. I've had to learn a lot in the last few months even about my mental health and trauma that everybody has different levels of trauma, whether it's physical or just emotional things you've just kind of like avoided ever dealing with. And I think there's a period of my life where I just kind of blacked out a lot of, divorce, travel, new lifestyles, trauma through all kinds of stuff. And I mean, I dare anybody to try to figure out how to get into that. Like, how do you recommend people start to take that journey on with the right state of mind so it doesn't cause more present damage? But I mean, what I've learned recently is like we're all a bunch of 8-year-olds just in the human body, even if you're an adult, where we just hide it better. So, how do we navigate some of those things that we're maybe not dealing with?
Yeah, so I think one of the easiest tools, and it's also challenging, is to catch your thoughts, right? So you want to maybe have a journal or somewhere on your phone and listen to what you're actually saying to yourself, that inner dialogue. Because what happens is when we get into a negative space, like maybe like after an accident or, a setback in life or a setback in a race, we start talking. And that talking is just stories. It's not reality, but it sounds like reality. and then it creates emotions. So if we can catch those thoughts and start working on those thoughts, then the work doesn't have to be that deep. Like you don't have to attach it to your childhood if you don't want to go there. You can take the current thought and start working there. So like having like a little running journal of like, um, let's say you're a mom and you're like, I get so freaking frustrated when I walk in the door and the kids can't put their shoes away, right? So
Ooh, that's me. Every day of my life. Like I've put our kids' shoes, I've put my son's shoes in a bucket of water and froze them overnight because I was like, this is what happens. This is why we put our shoes away.
right. So that some people will walk straight through the house, not even like pay attention to the shoes. This is a really funny story. So some people it doesn't bother, right? They don't even see it. But other people, it's like, why can't I'm going to freeze your damn shoes, right?
Yeah.
So what you have to do is catch that thought. Okay, so you had a thought of like, why can't you put your damn shoes away? Like, what's wrong with my kids? Then it gave you an emotion. You got frustrated, and then you went into action. You froze them, right? So if we reversed all of that and we thought, okay, it wasn't the first time you had that thought because you've
No
had that
way.
thought multiple times.
I've
So
threatened it even.
yeah, so you finally took action, right? And then the other action was the threats in the previous ones. So if you would have caught the thought and then just like played with the thought for a little bit and said, okay, well, how could I take this shoe situation? Like, why won't my kids shoes put away their shoes? How could I reframe that? How could I look at it differently? So through the work, you could then get to the point where you'd be like, okay, the shoes represent that I have a house full of kids who love me and we have this amazing family. And as a byproduct of this, I have to deal with these shoes. And you then walk in the door and you feel the why won't they put the shoes up? And then you're like, I have a house full of kids who love me and I love them, and walk past the shoes.
Yeah.
And then you go have a conversation that's a little bit different about the shoe situation. It's not that you don't have to teach your kids not to pick up their shoes, but like the only person it's bothering is you. It's not bothering
Mm-hmm.
them. So when you can catch the thought and then reframe the thought, or look at the thought through a different colored lens, or look at it through a different perspective, and start to realize like, okay, that is a thought that is not serving me. It's just making me frustrated.
Excellent. I agree. I think I turned a bit of a page on all this. I mean, the shoe freezing was, maybe 2 years ago. And still, I got to say, the shoe put away sessions have been improved, if not by 30%, not much, but a little. So I think what I learned recently is, trying to force somebody to do something your way is never going to work anyways. Like you just like imagine a coach trying to force an athlete to train who's
Mm-hmm.
like, you have to meet people where they are. And number one, I think it helped me to talk to the kids. Like you said, cool down, have a different approach. Like, hey guys, it would mean a lot to me personally because it shows me a level of respect, just maybe explaining things a little bit more about how it would mean a lot of respect to me if they would do those things. So I think I've tried that. But I guess at the end of the day, you can't make people do anything. And that's pretty much what I had to remember is like, if they don't want to do it, let them and find a way to react to it in a better way.
Yeah. And it's not easy. Like, and, you know, I think the awareness and then being able to like say, okay, this was 2 years ago and look how I changed this thought, that does tell the brain, like, oh, look, I did this back then, so I can do this now. Right. So
Mm-hmm.
like if you took a situation with your that was kind of like irritating you with the kids now, like you could use that shoe thing and then apply it to something new now, right? So like for me, it's my son and wood and his wood chore, right? He won't do it.
Oh,
And
chopping wood?
it's chopping wood and bringing it upstairs so we have it for the fireplace, right? Like it's, I need him circulating the wood.
Yeah,
And,
of course.
and
I've watched
so,
Outdoor Boys. I know how much firewood you need.
It's a lot of wood. He doesn't understand because, for me, it's like, if we don't burn the wood, we have to pay the electric company to heat the house, and I'd rather burn the wood.
Yeah.
So anyway, it is trying to, I think that this is going to go into somewhere where didn't think we would go. It's like motivation, right? Like, how do you get motivated? Well, you don't. You
I
just
kind of hate
decide.
that word. Yeah,
Yeah.
like motivation. I always tell my athletes, I'm like, motivation is going to be a different percentage every single day. So you can't rely on that for anything aside from like accept what it is, take the knowledge. It's like a feeling, right? You know the feeling, it's information, but then you have to decide how to handle that feeling logically.
hmm Yeah, you can't wait for the motivation to go do the workout. You can't wait for the motivation to pick up the shoes. You can't wait for
Yeah.
the motivation to do the wood. So then you have to ask them to like step back, right? Look at the big picture. Like, what is the real goal that you're striving for,
Yeah. Well,
right?
let's
So,
let's curtail this into something
yeah.
that like I think people will really resonate with because we're coming up on a time of the year where everyone reflects and we're all looking in the rearview mirror just a little bit to be like, what did I mean, mostly I think we probably look at the things that didn't go well. Unfortunately, that's like our cue because that's all we have around us is like, you didn't do this enough, you failed at this, you didn't make enough money, you thought you would. But I think like it's a good time to identify the processes that limited our performance. And so when we're looking back and you're talking exclusively about rewiring things, what would
hmm
somebody, let's just have an example. I think everybody on this podcast could handle at one point or the other, losing weight, gaining weight, fitness goals. What are the things if we looked back at and we did not achieve a PR or our BMI didn't change or our VO2 max didn't change, what is like a general way to identify, assess, and repattern based off of what you would recommend?
That's a great question. So let's use the PR. Um,
Or PB. I don't know which country. Some people say
yeah.
personal best.
So a result, right? Like we have to be going back to that thought catching thing, catching those thoughts that do not align with the goal. The, can I do this? Is it possible? Right there's enough negative seepage to send you down the wrong path. If your mind is in doubt, you will race in doubt and you will finish without the result.
Mm. That was a big rhyme too. I don't know if you meant
Big.
that.
I'm just riffing, man. But when your mind is at peace and your mind is in flow and it's not attached to the outcome. If my dogs are making too much noise, let me know.
Is this like one of those things where like your dogs will lay around and do nothing all day
Yeah.
until you
Go.
need them to chill, and then you're like, "Sorry, I'm playing."
Yes.
They got the zoomies.
Notorious for them.
I'm sure they're gonna listen.
Yeah. So being aware of what a negative thought is, because sometimes negative thoughts sound positive, right? Like sometimes a negative thought could be like reasoning, like if I do X, I'll get Y,
Yeah.
right? Like
Or counting
bargaining.
yourself out early, right? Like, well, then I won't have to spend the money on an extra night if I don't have a good race, and I'll just leave early. I'll save the money.
Yeah. So you've already self-sabotaged by bargaining with yourself, right? So the negative thought isn't the black and white. I can't, it won't, or like it's those little things. So you have to be a really good detective of your negative thoughts and how you're sabotaging your outcomes. For example, with the weight, my body's just built that way.
I hear that a lot. I'm like,
No, it's not.
Look, you just look like you're carrying inflammation, or like maybe you've just been big your whole life, but like, is that just because you've said that your whole life?
Mm-hmm. It is. So what wanting is having, right?
I like it.
You really have to think about how you say things because you are creating the environment to have what you want.
feel like that's coming a lot more to the surface than I've ever heard that on social media. Even like people are just a lot of these kind of like daily reminder reels and stuff about the things you say have more power, and obviously the things you think have even more power. And so,
Yeah.
how do you notice that with your clients, and what changes do you see?
So one thing, like your goals, like, so the motivation, right? Like having that goal, looking at your goal every day. I mean, I think that's the one. Business versus racing, you're looking at your fitness goals, you have weekly goals, you have, workout goals. So you're looking at your goals on a regular basis. When you're looking at your goal, you're going to listen for the underlying whispering doubt, the underlying whispering, I'm not sure, or you can't do that, or, well, that would only be possible if. Um,
It's
it's
hard to
only.
catch yourself on those too, like
Mhm.
because goals are, you probably set 100 goals a day sometimes, and how do you catch yourself? Like, what are good practices to I mean, because I don't know, I think journaling and all that stuff, it's practically great, but like we won't even breathe for 30 seconds and like sit down and take notes on anything. Like, what are some more practical things you might bring into the situation?
So this one you don't have to like write it, right? But like, let's say one thing that I have my clients do is like do an automation of their ideal life, right? Like say it out loud. And at first we write it and we read it, but then you get to a certain point where you just rift it, like, I am so grateful and thankful now that I have run a 5K in under 20 minutes, right? When you're rifting your goal, you hear the doubt sink in. I've never done that. I've, oh, there's a thought right there. I've never done that. Is that true? Yes, that's a very true thought. Um, does it always have to be true? No, it doesn't always have to be true. Could it change? Yeah. If I go do this workout and I continue to do it, then right. So we caught the thought, because once we catch the thought and we start turning it around, it comes less, or it really quiets down.
What's the value of fake it till you make it?
So believing, you've got to have, the only person that it matters believes in you is yourself. Like having your partner or your coach believe in you, that surely is nice. But if you don't believe in yourself, then you're never going to make it. So fake it till you make it is, in my opinion, like an absolute. You got to act as if you are that
Hmm.
type of person to be that kind of person.
Or at least maybe think like it, because I mean, some people
Mm-hmm.
are outwardly like more arrogant, and you're like, is that real, or are they just like fluffing
Okay.
their feathers? I don't know, I can't
Good
tell the
point.
difference.
Yeah, no, you have to feel it, right? Like
Yeah.
I step into this workout as if I'm a person who's going to run I don't know, I like the 20-minute 5K, right? I'm stepping into this person who's going to win the national champion. I'm stepping into this workout as if I am the champion. So
I
like,
think I think people get discouraged sometimes when they see somebody else who's accomplished their goals, or they've done something that they had the idea of, and it makes them feel less valuable. But I've thought like I appreciate the fact that they've done that already, because it shows me that there's almost a blueprint already right then and there, and I can make it a little different, and maybe there's some things they overlooked. So I think that finding inspiration through others as a success is like really helpful.
well, they do say, like, you surround yourself with the people that you want to be like. And if they're
Hmm.
not people like in physicality that you can like sit around and do a workout with, you fill them in your space by reading their books, by, following them on social media. Yeah, you surround yourself with people you want to be like. So if you have people who have done what you want to do, follow those people. Let them be your guiding light. Like let them help you, show you how you're supposed to show up.
That's when I first started my pro career, I shelled myself with like this guy. His name was Marino van Honacker, and he was on this Austrian team. He's a German guy, and he was like at the time one of the best cyclists there was. And so I would just get destroyed every ride, and I knew I needed it, but I knew that I needed to learn from him, his mindset, how he handled riding 100K one day, 110K, and going all the way up to 160K by like 7-8 days in a row, every day adding. And we did the same routes. Like, it was just monotonous, but I learned so much from just being around others who were much greater than me.
Hmm. Yeah. And
So,
also being around them to learn that and to learn that they're human too,
mhm. Oh yeah.
right?
Cause I
Like,
saw him also running like 9-minute miles at the first parts of our camp. And I was like, oh man, I can do this too. I can go 9-minute miles. I'm good.
yeah,
I
right?
mean, then we'd hit 5-minute miles. But I mean, ultimately, I do agree with you completely. It's nice to see that, not their flaws, but just they're humans.
Hmm. And they have a life and they have to do lifey things.
So back to those who may be looking back and realize that they didn't. How are ways you can assess certain points, or is it a general mindset, or is it worth dwelling on a lot of those things? How would you recommend we kind of look back?
I would say find the gift or find the lesson. I like calling it a gift because, you know, when something doesn't go right, it's the time to learn. We don't learn by doing it right. So, you know,
Yeah,
there's so much treasure in what in by looking back. Um, and I do think there's also a gift in then letting it go, right?
letting it go.
Find the gift and be done with it,
I do
right?
think it's tough to be around those who live in the past, maybe peaked in high school and they never moved forward, or they were great once and that's all they feel like they were meant to do, and then they just kind of give up. It's tough to let go. How do you let go? Like, what is that a breath work thing? Does it take time? What do you think letting go means?
So again, it's that thought. The only reason we're holding on to is because we keep thinking about it. If we
Okay.
keep, I mean, I could tell you other things you're not thinking about and you've completely forgot about them. And if somebody else has been thinking about it, they'll be like, I can remember every little detail. And the other person will be like, what? Right. So we have to control the way we think. So if we want to let it go, then we have to realize, oh, I'm thinking about it. Now, it's like being a dog trainer. Do you have dogs?
Yeah, I'm a good dog trainer too. I'll put that on my resume.
There you go. So if you know like how to move a dog around and who has to be the pack leader of the dogs, the dog owner. If you want your dog to do something, you move into that space. So in the thought catching, right? So if you're kind of like thinking about the past, you step in as the dog trainer, the present person, the person sitting here today, and you move that thought away. Oh, that's good. We got the gift. Thank you very much. And moving forward. So you just came in as the dog trainer and you said, we're not focused on the past. We took the gift and we're moving.
Is there a
And
way to
so
like focus on like something else, or does it just easily go away?
you can focus on so many things, right? So you could take the gift, like, right? Because you do want to say, like, okay, thought, I saw you, I'm standing in your way, I take the gift, and now we're letting go. You can tap into your breath. You can tap into the sensation of touch. You can wiggle your toes in your shoes and just be aware of your feet. You could focus on sight. If you were talking to somebody, you could just focus on something on their face. If you're talking to somebody, you could listen. So you can use your senses to dive into your body and get out of your head.
Hmm, I like that. That's probably
I mean,
like before a race, probably is a good time to do that type of stuff too, because it's probably pretty overwhelming for a lot of people.
yeah, so like a good warm up. In the warm up, you can also warm up your brain by getting really like focused on how's your body feeling, feeling the body warm up, maybe really feeling your feet on the ground, um, and just focus on how you're moving your body with the warm up. And I also think doing things that are way different in the warm up than you do ever, like, if you don't normally do jumping jacks, do jumping jacks at your warm
Or
up.
do a
It,
do a cartwheel instead, right? Send
yeah,
it.
yeah, send it. Don't hurt yourself, please. Not everybody
Yeah.
can do a cartwheel.
Oh my gosh, there's an image I want to give you. One time, and I wasn't there for this because I wasn't part of their lives, but my wife tells me Tyler, our son, 17, he said that one time he was going to do a cartwheel, and I don't know why, but he didn't use his hands. He just tried to do like a
Around
legs,
it.
and he just like
Yeah.
yeah, right. And he just totally face planted. And my wife just talks about that and cries laughing every single time. So yeah, don't do those types of cartwheels as a caveat. Do the proper ones.
Yeah, with the hands. And if you can't do a cartwheel, but maybe you like want to do a, you know, like I said, jumping jacks or a spin or something, but like do something outside of um, your normal activity that just resets your brain. Like, um, and two, sometimes like I'll just like clap my hands or something, stop,
Sing a
like,
hymn.
yeah, yeah, music could be good, like, but I'm just thinking to be more
In
really
tune
get
with
out of
yourself.
yeah, be able to tap into something that you don't need any external stuff with you.
Yeah.
Like you forgot everything at the hotel or your house, and you're like, it's fine. I got my body. I don't need anything else.
Except for if you forget your nutrition, that's a bit. I've done that. That's you need that. I don't have everything else if I don't have my nutrition. Yeah, let me just have a really competitive race, just using everything I randomly find on course. Let's see how it goes. Why not? You should
Well, I
try
mean,
that.
it's possible. Everything's possible. It might not be
Yeah,
your best race, but
that would be a headline. Well,
yeah,
I think really like what it comes down to, whether you're at a point where you're really doing everything that you really wanted to achieve, like there's always work to be done. Like no matter if
yeah,
you're super successful, you got all the money, you got all the family things, you got like I work with a lot of clients who've got all walks of lives, and
hmm,
I haven't found anybody who's just always happy all the time. And I think that like the more I've kind of been on this earth, I'm just like, it's not about always being happy. Like we want happiness, it's the pursuit of happiness. We're told it's always there, but like suffering is the constant. We all have, and suffering isn't always like a negative, bad thing. Like you have to suffer somebody's presence, or you have to suffer being in traffic, or you have like, it's not like suffering is the worst doldrums of life. Suffering, it could just be an experience where you aren't happy. I don't know. Maybe stuff.
well, I think
Yeah. Give me your thoughts.
one, yeah, what it's a choice, and it's a, it's a choice of what we focus on, and what we focus on will grow, right? So, for example, you just said traffic. Um, I could get really irritated and angry and all the things, or I could just be like, well, at least I'm not the one in the accident up there. And you know
Mm-hmm.
what? I have a little extra time to kind of like sit here and listen to music.
Ooh,
So
what if you're
you
late
can,
though? Tell me about how to
it's okay.
handle that.
Yeah. You missed the flight. That's okay. They have flights all day
Oh,
friggin' long. Yeah.
that's
Right.
so
Like
chill.
the, you, but you have to choose it. Like
Yeah.
the old me would not have just been like, it's fine. There's flights all day long. Look, I have been through some very hard traffic things because we have a tunnel to get out of here and ski
Oh,
traffic and right, like so
well, not right now because you
um
guys don't have any snow. Just
we don't have
sorry to
any
remind you.
snow. Yeah, that's okay. I can't ski right now, so it doesn't bother me.
Oh,
Um yeah. But anyway, like I can't ski, right? Like so, there's no snow. Um finding the gift in like the good in it is your choice. You can either
yes.
look at it as, oh my God, this sucks. We have no snow. We have, we're not going to have enough economy in the town. And I mean, people, could go spiraling down all the negative things about not having snow here right now. Or, people are even like future guessing about the fire season coming, like what this is meaning for the fire season, right? Like, but we haven't
Wow.
made it through the winter. Snow could still come. Like,
Yeah,
chill
we
out.
still got hoses, man. We can water the grass.
Right. So it's just about what you focus on. And I think if you like another way to think about it is um, you have good and bad. Do you want to focus on the good or do you want to focus on the bad?
Yeah.
And if you keep it that simple, then you're going to always choose happy. Now, when life is giving you hard things to where it's hard to focus on the happy, if you haven't been practicing this, it's going to be hard to focus on the happy, right? Like the other thing is like fear and love, right? If you're fearful of something, the opposite of fear is love. Like could you, can you see the love in it? Yes, you can if you look hard enough, right? Like, and so if we went going back to what we were saying, like reflecting on the past year, the gift, you know, if you focus on what did go well, and then you can grow what did go well, you'll have better results next year. If you
I
focus
agree.
on what went wrong and you keep ruminating on it, guess what? You're going to get wrong again.
Yeah, that's manifestation. I feel like you can just keep creating the same trauma by just focusing on that trauma. It's all you're going to realize. It's all you're going to pinpoint. It's all you're going to taste. You've got to break that cycle. And I
Yeah.
think the gift aspects of it resonates with me so much because I broke my femur in August, because everyone was like, oh, how are you going to manage? You seem like you're having such a good attitude. Like, I wasn't sad a single day. I never had that much time off, really, even in the last 10 years of my life. I played video games. I had my wife make me delicious food. I had people checking in on me. It was like the most I've ever been cared for. Honestly, it was amazing. And then I got perspective to be like, I can't wait to go back and really have a different mindset when I race, because I've been so passive. I've kind of checked myself out. So it was a gift. You're right. If you find that gift in the circumstance of suffering, then it quickly turns into an optimistic outlook rather than this is something else I want to talk about too. How come we're not very good at like being extra happy or extra shitty? Like, how come we're not very good? Is that like the media that's done it to us? So like, we're not very good at just being like pretty good. It seems like we've got to be extreme. Why?
Yeah. I do think that there is a lot of, well, I mean, I guess to be really honest, I think it's because we get so much dopamine in all of the social media. And so because we get so much dopamine, the only time it really feels good is if it's extreme. And so if we don't go extreme, then it doesn't feel good. Well, I think, having been injured and having had to slow down, 1 mile would be great. I don't need to run 120 miles
Mm-hmm.
or
No
26.
extremes there.
One would be great. So I think when you're in that, if you look at your life and how much dopamine you're getting, and if you don't know where dopamine comes from, it's the learning drug. It's not a pleasure drug. And all the things on social media is teaching us to keep looking. And they're good at it. And it's designed in the right amount of time, the right amount of like catchiness to keep you scrolling to the next one. And they show you the ones that will keep you scrolling. They don't show you the ones that are not great and that will keep you scrolling.
Yeah.
So because we have so much dopamine in our world, we feel like we have to do it for ourselves too. And I think also, like, when I think about running like 100 and something miles, like, and people need to go run 100 miles to like calm their nervous system back down, which is a little disappointing that we have to run so far to calm our nervous system down. And that used to be me, right? Like, I used to be a, a triathlete, and I used to do half Ironmans, and I used to do all the run, biking, swimming for hours. Now I'm an injured athlete living in the mountains, and I walk like 3 miles. And I don't need all of that stuff to like calm my nervous system anymore.
It's a good skill to learn when you have to be with yourself. You're forced to it. I respect a lot of people who like don't have any social media on a Sunday, for example, or they just take their phones and put them in a Faraday cage at home for like a few hours a day. Like I don't necessarily, I know that I'm guilty of a lot of these things too, but I think that I've rationalized it in a way to where I'm like, I don't really consume a ton of social media, and I really don't. I don't like have a lot of reels. I have things people send me, and then I just watch it and send it onward because I think it's great. That's what social media is, I guess, the best for, is just keeping people connected through humor and laughter. But then like there's another side to it. Like there's some whitelisted ads that I've pushed through my account through some companies, or they've pushed through my account. And like some of the people are just so critical. They're on social media to vent their negative comments and to create a bad environment, because it just feels like if they're willing to put that opinion, which nobody really needs to read, into the atmosphere of whatever this ecosystem is, like that's how they validated themselves. Like social media is a lot of validation, and you got to be aware of what you're validating, I think.
Yeah. I mean, validating and like what's on social media and what's true and what's not true. That's also scary. Now, then AI comes in, like, what is true? Like, you know,
Exactly. I mean, even with social media, with sports stuff now, like there's a lot of, there's a lot of things going on in the sports world that I feel, even in politically, whatever, like we just don't know the facts. We don't get the story that is probably intended by the original person who had that story happen to them. We get like a version that's maybe skewed to support our already perceived mindset of to reestablish what we already thought, or to embolden us with
so
what we
that
already think.
that loops right back to what I was saying at the beginning about catching your thoughts and turning them around.
Mm-hmm.
Because these are people putting their negative thoughts and no filter, no and then news, it's somebody's interpretation of what's going on. It's their interpretation. They're not doing anything wrong, right? And they're giving you their interpretation. And if we take our own thoughts and we start thinking, this is just an interpretation of my brain trying to solve a problem. That's
Yeah.
what our brain does. It wants to fill in the gaps and solve the problem. And so that person that's making a post on social media, you know, they're putting their negative thoughts out there without questioning them before they post them. And the person following the story, they're that's their filter through their brain. And that's where we need to catch our own thoughts so that we can create our own happiness, so that we can create our own peace, so that we can create our own epicness without doing epic things.
Anxiety is like the number one thing I hear about everyone always having at all times now, and it's byproduct of our everything. And
Mm-hmm.
then the athletes and people you're working with, especially, it seems like you've got a lot to do with alcohol avoidance, and that probably creates a lot of anxiety itself. But then sports performance is like built off of anxiety, and also there's positive ways to use anxiety. So if you have pre-race anxiety, what is your best procedures or top 3 things to help people get over it? Because I think that's really inhibitive.
Yeah. So the first thing I do is anxiety is a feeling in our body, and we can decide how we want to label it. Anxiety and excitement feel the same, right? So if
Ooh.
you're excited about something, then it feels the same as anxiety. So, like in a race situation, if you're feeling anxious and you're starting to think, did I, should I, could I have, stop and be like, okay, I'm excited that I get to test all this fitness. I'm excited that it's raining because I've never raced in the rain and this is something new. Or I'm excited that the waves are a little bit bigger. It's going to be challenging for us all. Like you have to get excited for the challenge because you signed up for it.
That's
This is
very
what you
fair.
chose to do, and you wanted to do it, and you still want to do it, and you're confused because now there's a little bit of fear coming in because you're getting tested, and that's okay, right? Like it's good to be tested. We enjoy getting tested because it shows us how strong we really are.
I always
But
loved tests, because, especially in the military, because then I would take the 10 questions I got wrong. I'd never miss those questions again, ever. I would learn so much from and I still probably do this to my detriment. I learned so much from my failures that it's like, I wish I could have just taken it all in the right way the first time.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, tests show you where you need to grow. And
Yeah.
so if you feel like you're not ready, just it's like a test. Where do I need to grow?
And
Where do I need to focus?
most people, that's accountability and showing up every day, no matter how you feel, no matter how motivated you are, no matter what did or didn't work out with whatever reason the day before. I think, what trends do you tend to notice for those folks who are very successful?
Well, I think it's the like layer of self that you're doing it for yourself. Because when you said accountability, I said that I thought you really have to be accountable with yourself. And when you're not, you're lying to yourself. And when you start lying to yourself, right? Like if you're not doing what you say you're going to do, then you start losing trust in yourself.
Then you become a
And
narcissist.
right? And so you
Maybe.
I'm not sure, but if you realize like in this self, like I do think there's that interpretation of like this the deep work of self and the doing it for yourself. If you're not harming somebody else, it's not narcissistic, right? So like if you think about lying to yourself and not holding yourself accountable, the only person you're really hurting is yourself. So I think there's like, what is it in within you that you're not happy with? What is it with you that you're not holding yourself up to that standard you want? And that's where you then get into a little bit deeper of like the self-sabotaging thoughts, the negative thought patterns, and then realizing that like these thoughts are addictive. They're feeding something. And what they're usually feeding is a need that you want, a need to be heard, a need to be seen, a need to get what you want, right? So
Well,
like,
is that why negative thoughts are addicting, you think? Because it's a way for us to be comfortable reaching out. It's better than saying nothing. It's better than just being submissive. It's an action, right? And sometimes that's the only one we can do, is the most aggressive, extreme one, right?
mhm. And the
Okay.
one that needs, it's a needy, right? Like if you're happy, you don't need anything. But if you're happy, you can still ask for help, right? If you're happy and you're content, you can still ask for somebody to come sit by your side because you want to be around someone.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we get to a negative emotion and then people, hey, are you okay? Like, can I
Yeah, we
help
want that,
you?
right?
Hmm. Well, we want it, but we want that, but we don't have to be sad to get it. And in
Yeah.
fact, like if you think about, um, if you're walking down the street, if somebody smiles at you, you're likely to smile back at them. If somebody frowns at you, you're not going to smile at them.
I don't know. I might be like, hey, you all right? What'd I do wrong, man?
But like, the happy face, the good
Yeah,
energy
you
will
can feel that.
attract people. But when we're in a negative energy space trying to attract people, it's much harder. So we have to act even sadder and more hurt and more out of, because we just want your attention. And if I'm really sad and broken, then you'll see me. But
Yeah.
if I'm happy, you'll think I'm fine and pass me off,
Ooh, let me flip the script real quick. There's a lot of single
yeah.
people out there, I'm sure, but like the most people I know who are single, all they have to say is how terrible dating is. Dating sucks. Like, is that maybe why they're having a bad time dating? I don't know. I mean,
I'm recently single, so that you're like touching a good one. Um, so it is what you want. If dating is hard and dating is just a bunch of bad people, it's because you don't want the good person. First of
ooh,
all, the thing I would say is if you had to date yourself, how good of a date would you be right now?
good idea to question that, because some people are just mad at
Like stop,
everything, mad at
yeah,
their
stop
mom, blame. Yeah.
stop looking out and just think, okay, so if I were walking down the street and I had this persona coming out of me, would somebody want to date me? Or if I were sitting at dinner with myself tonight, would somebody want to be on a date with me? Like you have to show up as the person you want to be on the other end of a relationship.
I heard something recently that said just the consciousness of like the future, the past, and the present. It's just, that's all construct we've created. Like the future is actually now, and you can
Mm-hmm.
manipulate the future with your intention, your thought, and what you bring to the table immediately. You just have to change that internal dialogue. And like, do you think that that's got some merit?
Yeah, it's called the reticular activating system. Like what you think about is what you see. So if you think about dating is terrible and there's just ugly, men, there's no single men, this
They're
would
all
be kind of
taken,
my
all the
dialogue.
single men. All
They're
the
all
good ones are taken.
taken. Yeah, believe me, I've been there. And if that is what you're thinking, that's what you'll see. Every hand you look at, there will be a ring. You'll never see the single person because all your brain is looking for is the married person to prove you right, because our brain is designed to prove us right. So if you want to find a single person, you need to start thinking, wow, there are a lot of single people here. And the way to prove this right or wrong is if you um, ask somebody to like open their eyes, and I want you to look around the room and see all the color brown. And everywhere you look, where do you see brown? Okay, now close your eyes and tell me what you saw that was red. They didn't see any red.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to, because they were focused on the brown. But if I did it the exact opposite colors, your reticulating activating system would find all the other colors, and you wouldn't see the other colors. So if you want it, look for it.
Yeah, like how many times have you gone to used car shop and you're like, you know what, I like that Honda, and then like all you see is Hondas everywhere. You're like, man, I
Yeah,
didn't realize this town
that's
was built upon Honda.
yeah, yeah, that's the reticular activating system. The car is probably the biggest thing. Like when you decide, like, oh, I'm gonna, for my son. My son's name is Easton, and I was like, oh, this is so unique. Nobody's name is Easton, and then like I opened Pottery Barn catalog, and like they had the embroidered backpack, and it said Easton on it, and I was like, and like there was another kid
Pottery
in,
Barnes, that Pottery Barnes got that vibe though. Come on now,
like,
that vintage Yale graduate going on there.
well,
They're
that's
not
not where
going to
the East.
Walmart and putting Easton on backpacks, putting like Nick.
But you see my point. Like once I named him, then I started seeing Eastons everywhere. Like there was an Easton in our workout class, and there was an Easton in the hospital when he was born. Some other person named their kid Easton. Um, but when you focus on it, you see it. And the car
Well, let's go.
situation is the best because, like, when you decide to buy the car, then that's all you see is that
Yep.
car.
Well, let's take it first full circle because I'll do some personal sharing. Like for many times when I don't feel good and I feel like a lot of things are going wrong for me, or I'm just like, it's weird. Some random days I won't feel good no matter what I do. And I just have to learn to deal with that sometimes. But I'll just be like, man, things are just wrong. And then those are the days I'll come home and the shoes being out or something like that. I'm like, what's wrong? And I feel terrible in hindsight, looking back at maybe some of the patterns I created where I'll be like, the kids were at home all day and they didn't do the dishes. And that's all I ask them to do ever is like, make sure the dishes are loaded and unloaded, and then my life is good. But like, that's the first thing I'll notice when I come in the door. Not like, oh wow, like how was your day? How was I'm like, what's going on? These shoes, these dishes. Oh, and I just go upstairs. So I think if you're looking for things to be wrong, you're gonna find everything you can. And like in the last probably like 8 to 10 weeks, like I haven't felt that way at all. It's been
That's
awesome.
awesome. Yeah. So I would say that we get stuck, right? Like we get in a loop, we get in a pattern. And so,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, like when my day's not going right and it's not going right, then you see the kid stuff right away. When you can catch yourself in that, breathing is the best way to change the nervous system. So, like doing an even count in and an even count out, and like setting a timer on your phone and breathing in for four, out for four, in for four, out for four, like 2 minutes. Just keep doing it for 2 minutes. Your brain will change. If um, you say like stressed out and you're feeling like just extra stress, then I would say you want to do a long exhale. So maybe like a 5 count inhale, hold for 4 counts, and then exhale for 7 or 8. That really helps decrease the blood pressure, slows down. And one, when you're having to not just breathe, but then you're counting and breathing, you're turning your brain off. You're giving your brain something else to focus on. And it scientifically has shown that it changes your nervous system. And you need to, you do need to like, pick up your phone, turn on the timer, and then start timing it, because our brain can do lots of things, but once you engage, like your eyes are looking at the clock, and now you're focused on your breath, and your mind is counting the breath, right? Then we've distracted ourselves to change our nervous system.
I think that's probably the most difficult thing to ask a human being to do, is to just like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
stand next to me for about 5 minutes and we're just going to breathe. We're going to close our eyes and breathe. Like, I think that's probably the hardest thing in our modern age, which is so sad and it's weird. It's like, I
Yeah.
need the stimulus. I need it at all times. I'm addicted to this stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, without having to pick up your phone, that was just to pick up so that you're adding the eyesight into the task, right? You could say, okay, every time I sit in the car, I'm going to do 4 breaths. And the idea is you're training your brain, like, okay, the doing the breath work. It needs to be something you practice occasionally or regularly, not occasionally, so that when you're having a bad day, then you're like, I'm going to go do that breathing thing for real now. I'm going to go
Mm,
sit for 3 minutes and breathe.
yeah.
I'm going to go pretend like I'm going to the bathroom, and I'm going to go sit and breathe. But if you had practiced it by attaching it to some other activity in your day that you do every day, whether it's like brushing your teeth, or maybe while you're loading and unloading the dishwasher, or while you're making your coffee, or while you're putting on your cycling clothes, like you can do multiple tasks like that. Like, okay, I'm going to do 4 count breathing and practice some breath work while I'm getting dressed. And so then when you need the tool, it's a tool you've been practicing. It's not like, it's kind of like changing a flat tire. If you, now this is going to really show my age. But back in my racing days, like I could change a flat tire in under 2 minutes. Because if you didn't know how to change a flat
Yeah,
tire in under 2 minutes, you were not in the race, and there's no way you're going to win.
that's
So
right.
you had to be able to really change your tires fast. So that was a skill that I practiced in the comfort of my own home, taking tires on and off, changing the flat, changing the flat, changing the flat, so that when I was on the road, I could do it fast. And guess what? If I had to do it today, I probably could do it. Maybe it might take me a little longer, but I could do it
2:30.
all on my own. Right? 30.
That's what kind of bothers me about triathletes sometimes, is like, and this, I'll paint a picture here. Every time that I've been on a bus because there's a split transition or something or other, and I just like, I don't like to listen to music. I just like to be kind of just let my mind wander. And I like to listen to all the conversations. I've always had like this really weird ability to listen to multiple conversations at once. And especially like at restaurants, it's been tough. But on the bus, I just hear a lot of, like, everyone's telling their story. Everyone's telling their story. And there's usually validating their story through some negative response that they overcame, whether it was, oh yeah, this happened to me, or oh yeah, well this happened to me too. It's like we're always doing that. And I think that we forget so much about, we don't have to live in that world of validating negative responses over and over again, or negative things. Like, all we have to do is be present and let go of those things, like you said, and practice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you practice that tire changing skill because you took the initiative, when instead of sitting on the couch, you took 20 minutes and you just did it while you were, instead of sitting on the couch, you did it on the floor. So like, triathletes bother me a lot because, well, actually any endurance athlete, because it's just a mindset we all probably carry around. We don't practice the things that we know that we suck at enough. We just like, oh, I'll figure it out when it happens again. I'll be better that next time it happens. Whenever it is, I'll just figure it out. Like, why don't we practice more the things that we are kind of inadequate with? Is it because we just like don't like to look ourselves in the mirror and be like, I'm not good at that, and we'd rather avoid it? Or is there just we think we've got no time?
Um, I think because it makes us uncomfortable. Like as you were talking, I was just thinking about like running drills and swim drills and,
Strength
bike
training, for crying out loud.
bike handling, strength training. Like, I mean, for me to do something uncomfortable is really hard. So I started doing something new this week. Yeah,
Ooh,
I started teaching the spin class because I can't ski and all I can do is bike and I'm not running
that can
yet.
be intimidating. Good job.
And so it's technology and I'm old and I can't
You
see
got
and it's
AirPods though,
yeah.
so you're
But
doing all
anyway,
right.
like this is my second class today, and I like figured out something on technology, and I was like, yeah, I did it. I'm like, I feel like a little baby that just experienced something new for the first time. Like instead of being embarrassed about it, like I don't understand this technology, and all the other instructors besides like one or two are really young, and I was like, I'm learning it, like,
Oh
and
my
I was
gosh,
like, and I feel like a little baby.
your
So
son
like
would have
when you
been like, "Mom, what are you doing?"
so embracing that learning mindset always like with the strength training, right? It could be very intimidating in some gyms to go in
Yes.
and if you just keep it to the basics and celebrate the little breakthroughs that you're having, right? Like you want to keep celebrating the little wins.
Yeah, I agree. I think doing the things that make you uncomfortable are just like the gift. Like because you always walk away feeling clumsy and feeling human and being real, and you don't feel like you have to be so put together, and you can laugh at it, and then you can tell the story about how you laughed at it, and then you can move on, and then you can be good at it one day. Like my goal this year, 2026, is to be able to do like free handstands, just freestanding. There was a guy who walked in the gym and was just doing them, and I was like, that impresses me. That's a lot of work, and so I've been trying to figure that out. So I think, and part of that is like I've been really hesitant to try doing it at the gym or like putting my feet on the wall or anything, because they're gonna be like, he's not good at it yet. Let's watch him do this weird stuff on the wall. So like I even have to deal with some of that stuff. I'm like, well, I'm gonna practice in my own home for now, but I still will
Yeah.
do it. I'm not gonna quit. So don't quit, even if you're a little uncomfortable. And I think you can learn everything you want on YouTube these days. Like there's no reason not to be good at something. Like there's a video for everything. Probably how to like, I don't even know. There is a video for everything. So that just answers that.
Yeah. I think embrace the uncomfortableness, like cheer on your inner child and nobody does anything perfect and nobody starts off perfectly. And I think like with drills, you know, uh, I think people, especially in the pool, right? Like if you look like a floundering fish, that's fine. Your body's trying to figure out how to balance in the water. That's
Just don't quit.
yeah. You
Well,
get
we're at 58 minutes. And so I
awesome.
think I've taken, it's a good hour. And I think like to wrap all this up and surmise everything we kind of dove into, and I obviously tangented us a few times, but that's my favorite thing to do because I think we always learn some new stuff that way. But learning from what didn't work this year, that's key. And doing that with an open mindset, like give me some key points, things that didn't work out this year. What do you think? How some top three things to just cover what we already covered.
Yeah, so like we get to tell the story, like you were saying about the story in the buses and stuff. Like you choose the story you want to tell about 2025, what you learned, and make the story good. Make the story a learning lesson.
Yeah, don't blame people.
Mm-mm.
Take responsibility, even if you
Oh
weren't
no.
wrong.
Especially if you like to have power, because whenever you blame someone, you give them the power. Whether you're blaming your bike, you're blaming the course, you're blaming blah blah. Like I like to have power, so every time I catch myself blaming, I'm like, hold on, what could I have done differently? How can I own this? And I like taking 100% ownership of everything.
That's that is the best way to be. I totally agree. That's a big takeaway. Take ownership of everything that happens to you in life, whether it's good or bad. even if you didn't even necessarily cause it, just responsible for how you're handling it. I think that's key.
Yeah.
So then we start talking about weight, food, inconsistencies with making sure that you're taking good care of your body and your mind, given the food situation we all have to struggle with all the time. Like, what is a good takeaway to, make a difference in 2026 that maybe 2025 didn't give you the action that you wanted or the result you wanted?
I think it's also, again, there, like, what story are you telling yourself? That I can't do it, this is just the way my body is, whatever excuses you're making, you need to stop. Like, you need to catch the excuse, and you can just try the dog technique, like, okay, I see you. Now we're going to move this dog out the way and
Mm-hmm.
move on to something else because it's not serving you, right? If you want to have a good one, you would turn it completely around and be like, I'm a person who eats blah, blah, like I'm a person that weighs that exact weight and I weigh it all year round and it doesn't matter what time of year it is. That's the way I weigh. That's how much I weigh.
That's
Like,
what I say. People are like, you must eat like so clean. And I'm like, I eat everything I want, whenever I want. I never feel bad about it. I know I need it and I work hard for it.
yeah.
That's the
So
bottom line.
that is key. Like, no shame, right? Like, so you want to, if you have shame and guilt around what you're eating, it's only going to fester all that negative thinking. All that negative thinking is then going to hold on to that weight. It's going to not serve you to get to the result you want. But if you decided, like, hey, look, I'm a person who eats healthy and I weigh this amount of money, weigh this amount of
Ooh,
weight,
I weigh $1
weigh
million.
this amount of money. I weigh this amount of weight. And yeah, I enjoy a cookie, or I enjoy a scone, or I enjoy, then enjoy it.
Yeah.
There's there's no enjoyment when you're beating yourself up for having it.
Ooh, good call. That's not fun.
Yeah.
The cure to anxiety is,
Excitement.
yeah, action, right? Doing
Yeah.
something about it.
Well, feeling the feeling of excitement is the same, right? So you can change the story that you're having in your head, that I'm excited for this race. I'm excited for the new challenge. And again, walk the dog, get that negative thought out of there that's not serving you. And if it's just a thought that's not serving you, might be even better. It doesn't even have to the word negative. It's a thought that's not serving you. Walk the dog, trainer, move the thought out of your way, and then come back and turn it into excitement. It feels the same way.
Absolutely. And I think the best thing, if we didn't do what we wanted to in 2025 and we want to make it better in 2026, the first couple things you said that I was like, I know it's tough to do. Give me something more practical, but it is being present and taking time to write some shit down. Make a
Mm-hmm.
list, have some accountability, put it someplace you can not be distracted by your phone where it doesn't go off the screen. It's on your mirror. You have to be very intentful about the things that you want to write and take notes on. I think personal reflection is really helpful.
Yeah, I mean, I have journals everywhere and I have notes in my phone. Like, it it is good to hear what you're thinking and realize, is it serving you or not serving you, and what you're going to do about it.
Yeah. Well, I think we summed it all up. There's a lot of
Thank you.
randomness in there, but I think it does kind of like it all plays together in the big scheme of things, especially when the goal is to make next year better, even by 1%. And I think that that's got to be the goal. You can't just go perfect. You can't have the best year ever. It's got to be just, I did better things, better processes. The outcome goal stuff is really hard to feel good about because there's 100,000 things that go into the process of making an outcome. And that's 100,000 reasons to be happy along the way, right?
Right.
Even if the goal's a little bit shitty, all those things that got you there, that's the journey, and that's what we're here for, right?
Yeah. And then I would, like, in the reflection, wanting is having. Did you really want it? Because if you really
Yeah.
wanted it, you would have it.
Yeah. I love saying that to people. They're like, oh, I wanted to be a better swimmer. I was like, why didn't you come to Masters at 6 a.m. 3 days a week like we said we were going to? Oh, I was too tired. Oh, okay. So you didn't want it that bad.
So you
Next
wanted to
time,
sleep. So that's okay.
yeah, next time you better get up. Next time, Eryn, we're going to have you share some of your ups and downs. I want you to be vulnerable, and I want to just get to know you more. And this was great. I think it's awesome to just kind of spitball a lot of our personal things as endurance athletes and as people who care about ourselves and others. So
Yeah.
I want to say thanks so much for coming on. You'll be a regular part of our programming. We will put the information how you can find Eryn in the show notes, and obviously on the episode, on video podcast, and on friggin' whatever we hosted on Spotify, Apple, wherever it is. It's everywhere. So thank you so much for being part of this. And you and I've been talking for, I don't know, 6 months about doing stuff, and like, we're finally here. Way to go.
Yeah.
Look at
Yay,
us.
we did it. We did it. And
Well,
I
thanks
appreciate
again.
it. Yep. Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to doing this again.
All right. And have you ever listened to our podcast yet?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. How do we end it? Do you know how we end it?
I do not.
We all go, peace out. So you got to say out. Peace
Okay.
out.
Out.
That's right.